right now I'm on the clock at 6 with the Detroit Lions. I think you got to take this swing here because they got James Houston from Jackson State, who was a revelation last year with 8 or 9 sacks, and then Aiden Hutchinson, who was right there for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Now all of a sudden you might be able to get Jalen Carter in the center of that defense. They had good linebacker play out of Rodrigo. They went out and signed 2 corners. That's the other position I looked at right now for the Lions is like, I really am a big fan of Christian Gonzalez, and I think that he would be great. He tackles really well, and he's fast. I think that he would be tremendous for the Lions. But if you're going to build a team, and you already spent in free agency on your corners, I'm gonna make the pick as Jalen Carter going to the Detroit Lions. And again, like that fits with what this team is doing, like just strong, nasty football players where it's like, oh, all of these guys work all the way up to the whistle, the entire play. And now all of a sudden I'm looking at a defensive line that matches the offensive line for the Lions. The Lions have a top 3, 4, 5 offensive line in the league. Now you're looking in a couple of years, maybe even by the end of the year, a defensive line that is causing fits. And I don't want to say it now, but one of these slips of paper could say that my prediction is going to be the Lions are going to be in the NFC Championship game. Not saying that I'm putting it up there right now, but I have already written it out, and it's over here, and I can't wait for when we do that show.
Every year we see somebody fall, and every year we see a team come up and get a good player or a player fall to them. And this year it's the Detroit Lions, especially in this draft, where Jalen Carter falls to them. I could see a big party in Detroit after they draft Jalen Carter. That would be their first pick. They have another pick later on in the draft too, or in the first round. So if they pull Jalen Carter in the first round at number 6, they got to be happy with that, especially with the improvements that they've already made over the last 2 years. Dan Campbell I wouldn't want to be around Dan Campbell after they make this pick. You know, imagine how many kneecaps will be cut off right now. I truly believe the quarterbacks fall. I think the hype is over. We've got over and stuff. I think this is a very good representation of what we could see at the end of April.
And this thing is going to change a ton from now until then. So I like how it's going so far. I think that it could go down this way, and it'll be exciting to go down this way because we're all waiting for Anthony Richardson to get drafted. By the way, everyone, I would like for y'all to like the video real quick. It helps us out so much in the YouTube algorithm and finding success with these videos. We put some effort into them. So if you like the content, please like the video. And if you're not subscribed to the channel with notifications on, we go live like this multiple times a week. So turn on those notifications.
So now we're at the same position before, where last time I said, just because you didn't like a quarterback at 2, now all of a sudden you like it at 12. Now I have them picking for another team that had a pick where they passed on 2 quarterbacks.
But this is a different situation. Jared Goff is a great quarterback, is good. And quarterback wasn't a need like it was for Houston or these other teams. Where you're looking at where Detroit, where they in this draft, they were able to take a Jalen Carter, and now you're like, you got your top guy. Now you kind of have that luxury to sit back. So it's not that big of a deal, I think, Tony, if they took him at this spot.
And that's the thing, Joe. You made the point for me. They're in a different situation where this player is not going to be asked to play in year 1 because they have Jared Goff. So I am going to take one of the 2 first-round projected quarterbacks.
What?
Here's the thing. I think if you're going to take this swing, you have to take the biggest swing possible. And the Detroit Lions select Anthony Richardson. And you bring him in there, and maybe even they do some of the fun stuff we've seen in the past where it's like we just have this athlete, and in weeks 9 or 10, he has like a couple of goal line packages where you just let him get out there and you're like, hey, we're going to run the option. We're going to have a backfield where it's almost like a shotgun dual running back setup where you got Swift on one side and Montgomery on the other, and the ball's being snapped to Anthony Richardson, and the defense is going, coach, what do we do? Do we go this way with the speed? Are we going this way with the thunder? And then you still have the option for him to, find ways to maybe get the ball to a speedy big wide receiver like Jameson Williams on like a little fade route or something fun. I'm gonna say he could get there and he could sit for 2 years and just learn the position and the pace. And I'm also a big fan of Ben Johnson. I think that he just seems to put everybody in great places to succeed, and that's that environment I think is very encouraging since Dan Campbell got there. It just seems better.
And I think that this Lions team is going to take a lot of pride in what they can do with this offensive line, paired with Anthony Richardson. If this happens and this guy's picked at the 18th overall pick, great pick, Tony, because I was going to take him next if you didn't. So,
yeah. Well, I was very close to going with Darnell Washington in this spot for the Lions. He feels like when I do my final mock draft, it might be Washington at that spot because he feels like what Dan Campbell wishes he was in the NFL. Like, I wanted to be 6'7" and just maul people at the line of scrimmage.